Hello, everyone. Welcome on in. It is Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. It's your number one tennis podcast and YouTube show brought to you in association with Bet Rivers, your hometown sportsbook. I am Nigel Seeley. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like. Coming to the end of what's been a very, very long season, but we all appreciate your thoughts and also any comments you have. Please put them in the comment section below. But most importantly, please hit the like and subscribe. Very, very important for us to end the season on a high with subscribers. And with your help, we can do just that. So please do that. Good morning, Sean Calvert. Coming in nice and early today because I'm away watching England this evening in Latvia. And I wanted to get this done before I head to the ground a bit later on. Good morning.
Good morning. This is nice and early, isn't it? Well, it's early. I don't know about nice and early. I'm more of a Sasha Bublik kind of guy, really, when it comes to early starts. But yeah, I'm all right, I think. Yeah. More importantly, how's Riga?
We're in the old town. I mean, to be fair, the beer's not very good. We had a couple of Latvian local beers, which weren't very nice, which is not really a surprise.
Okay.
But the old towns. You know you're in Eastern Europe. There's a lot of Sasha Bublik lookalikes walking around here. I must admit, you know you're
probably not with as much money.
Yeah, you're in Eastern Europe, that's for sure. But yeah, it's good. I think I mentioned to you. I think it was you. But the football ground is only a 10,000 capacity, and it's like an old Eastern European block football ground with a running track around it. And
I like those.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to see that tonight. So heading there
England
tonight.
Gonna win?
Oh, they will win. They're 16-1 on. They're one.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're heavy favourites.
I'm not up with Latvian football.
Well, nor am I.
Who was that Latvian used to play? There was a really good Latvian player, wasn't there, a few years ago?
Was it Fars?
It wasn't.
I think it was Fars. If you know that, put it in the chat. I think he played for Southampton.
I can't remember.
But anyway, I think England win fairly comfortably. But that is a bit later on tonight. It's all about the tennis today. Obviously, if you saw our show previewing the tournament, you will know that there is 3 ATP 250 events this week. And we're looking at some matches for tomorrow. And the first couple of matches we have are in the tournament in Brussels. Now, they're all indoors. But before we go into these matches, I don't know if you've got any info yet. I know it's early, very early. Is there anything come through on the condition? You've got it. Oh, good. Nice.
I have. I've only got stats from qualies, but I've obviously watched not all the matches, but several of the matches at each tournament, and you can kind of get a feel for the conditions. I would say we're talking about Brussels now. The quali stats are sometimes a little bit misleading, but 86% holds, 76% first serve points won in qualies. That's big. Normally, you get the quali stats are slightly down on what you would get on the main draw, just generally, but that's pretty big. And looking at Brussels, obviously, I watched the Bonzi match yesterday against Opelka. Anyone that took the small handicap on Bonzi would have profited there, but it looks pretty lively in Brussels. I'll talk about the other 2 tournaments in a minute. Stockholm, I would say, looks slower. I think that's because of the balls, though. They're using those horrible Robin Soderling balls. It just, it doesn't look as quick. But what we're talking about here, Brussels, looks pretty lively, yeah.
Yeah, and they've got a match to start with, which is quite an eagerly priced up match between Yannick Hanfmann and Matteo Arnaldi. The two of them have never played before, but on their first meeting here, Arnaldi was a marginal favourite, -124. Hanfmann is even money. Spread is a half if you want to play on that market with Bet Rivers. The total's high at 23.5. Looking at the form coming into this tournament, Arnaldi's had a bit of a bad year, not at his best, not in the greatest form, and it's Hanfmann who's actually showing the better form, yet he's the underdog. He got beaten the 3rd round in Shanghai against Novak Djokovic, and he's come through qualification here, winning 2 matches, mixed fortunes in the 2 matches, but he has had the advantage of playing on this court, and yet Bet Rivers have him on the underdog. Bit surprised by that.
Yeah, I like Hanfmann here. Marian Pahars, by the way, is the player I was thinking of.
Southampton, he played for, didn't he? Southampton.
Yeah, he played for Southampton. There you go. It just looks like the season can't end soon enough for Arnaldi. He just looks like one of them who's drifting to the end. He's lost 7 of his last 9 matches. Hasn't beaten a top 80 player since July. If you look at the stats, last 10 main level matches, Arnaldi 30% win rate, service points won and return points won, total of 96. That's way down on what he's capable of. Hanfmann, not brilliant, but better, 40% win rate and a total of 97. So in the last sort of couple of months, Hanfmann at this level, slightly better form. And Arnaldi's not got any sort of record on indoor hard in his career. It's a surface that he hasn't had any success on. 3 wins, 7 losses. Service points won and return points won, total of 98.7. Only winning 33.6% of return points and only breaking serve 14% of the time. So returning serve has obviously been a big issue for Arnaldi on indoor hard, and now he's facing a biggish server in Hanfmann and a player that's coming into form. You know, he's not had a great year, Hanfmann, but he's always dangerous. He's a player quite streaky. Quick conditions certainly suit him. He's gone very well at altitude before on the clay and on the hard. No altitude in Brussels, but it's still pretty quick. He's not at the best of years, but he's coming into form now. He beat Sonego and TFO in Shanghai, and he was a set-up on Djokovic as well. And that was relatively slow conditions in Shanghai. So he's in good form, perhaps the best little spell of his season, certainly the last few months. And Arnaldi obviously isn't. So given also that Hanfmann has come through 2 matches in qualies, he's won 87% on first serve and 100% holds the serve. Okay, the opposition wasn't fabulous, but it still shows you that the conditions pretty quick. 87% first serve points won, and the lively conditions will help Hanfmann as well. It just feels like this season, the end of it is just tailing off for Arnaldi. It's what I've talked about with a few players, the likes of Opelka. TFO ended his season. TFO basically ended his season after Shanghai. Just went, my work here is done. He's taken it to the extreme, TFO. Others are just sort of plodding on until the end of the season. Arnaldi, I don't think he's got... I mean, if he gets picked for Davis Cup, I wouldn't have thought so, given the strength of the Italian squad. He's in no real danger of dropping out the top 100, which, if people aren't aware, roughly the top 100 players 6 weeks before the Australian Open are the ones that are in it. So he's not in any real danger of dropping out of that and having to qualify. He should be safe for that. So you're wondering what Arnaldi's got to play for. And minus 124 in conditions he's not gone well in. Hanfmann, I think he's got a better than plus 100 chance of winning this match. So I think he's the bet of the day for me, Hanfmann.
Yeah, Hanfmann is the bet with Sean. Even money with Bet Rivers. I would suggest to get across quick because I think that price might go. Looking around at the different books available, that is one of the best prices around. So I expect Hanfmann to start around about a little bit lower than even money. Minus money for sure. So snap that while you can. Remember, the action starts at, I think it's 5 a.m. Eastern time. And there is about 50 different markets available on each one of these matches with Bet Rivers on a 250. And remember, if you do have a bet with Bet Rivers, you can live stream the match. So you can bet live and watch live with Bet Rivers. Now, we move on to another one. Similar prices and a similar probably argument to be made here. Nikoloz Basilashvili is minus 125 against Quentin Halys, who is even money. Spread again half. Total again is 23.5. If you're looking at the head-to-head record, Nikoloz Basilashvili has a very convincing head-to-head record. He wins 3-1 in the head-to-head. And the only time he has lost was when Basilashvili was forced to retire in Dubai in 2023. They met already this year in a Bordeaux Challenger, which Basilashvili won 7-6, 7-6. Lots of tie breaks between the two of them, so 23.5 may be in consideration in these conditions. And also, Basilashvili has the advantage of coming through 2 qualification matches here, whereas Halys hasn't been in the greatest form this year and lost his last match in fairly one-sided match against Lehechka. So, Basilashvili's an old favourite of yours, Sean. Are we getting into the minus 125?
These prices have flipped, actually. Halys was favourite.
Yeah.
When this was priced up, and now he's obviously slight underdog. I think the way to go here is overs. I mean, the career series has been absolutely dominated by serves. Strangely, for a series that's 1-3 in favour of Basilashvili, it's actually Halys that leads the service points won and return points won totals, 103 to 97. Quentin Halys, and as I said, serves have been dominant in this matchup, even when they played on clay, 7-6, 7-6. Halys 93% holds a serve in this matchup. Basilashvili 89% holds of serve, and the return points won very, very low. This is what you want if you're betting over games, over set one overs in quick conditions. You want stats that suggest the matchup has been heavily serve dominated and the return points have been low. So return points won. Halys 31% return points won. Basilashvili just 28% of return points won. And as I said, in these lively conditions in Brussels, you would expect serves to be dominant again. Basilashvili's actually got a really poor record against big servers. Weirdly, the only big server that he's gone well against is Halys, or the big servers in my database. Basilashvili's actually lost 13 of his last 16 matches against the guys I have down as big servers in my database. But the only 3 he won were against Halys. So, slightly strange. Basilashvili obviously came through qualies winning 87% of his first serve points. Again, it shows you how quick conditions are here. Basilashvili's not a massive server. He has had a lot of problems over the years with his serves. He's had a lot of shoulder, sort of on and off shoulder issues. And quite often Basil will go through stages where he just can't make a first serve. He's down at about 45, 50% because of this shoulder problem that he's had off and on. But he's won 87% of his first serve points. But the fact that he's got such a poor record against big servers and the fact that he only wins 28% of return points against this particular big server, despite the fact that he's won 3 matches, it all points to overs or set one overs for me. Set one over 10.5 is 2.6 plus 160 with Bet Rivers. That's where I'd go here. Halys needs to do something. I mean, he's 77 in the world. You wouldn't think he's in danger of falling out of the top 100. Basilashvili, on the other hand, is on the cusp. He's on 101 at the minute, so he certainly won't want to be messing about in qualies for the Australian Open if he can possibly avoid it. So he's got, arguably the more motivation. But, Halys has not been winning matches. He needs to arrest that slump. So I think it'd be a tight one. I think it'd be serve dominated, given the conditions, given the head-to-head matchup. So, yeah, I'd go set one overs here if I was having a little wager in this match.
Yeah, I backed that up. I like the over 10.5 plus 160. Does seem a very big price when you consider the records these two have had. And also maybe a tie-break in the set one or a tie-break in the match could be another alternative to look at with Bet Rivers. Ladder it up. When we go big, we go big. 10.5, 12.5. That's our lean in that match. No official play. So just the one official play over in Brussels, in Belgium, in the 250. And that was in our first match where we've gone for Hanfmann. And now we're moving across to Stockholm, where we have one match that's caught Sean's attention. It's the match between a real out-of-form Lorenzo Sonego, who plays Arthur Fery, the Brit. Before we go into the odds, Sean, what have you got on statistics here before we look at that match?
Yeah, it looks slower to me just from the naked eye. I watched Greek Sport. We got 2 outrights through yesterday, 1 loss. Greek Sport ended up losing in the final set tiebreak. In all fairness, he should have lost in straight sets against Fernley. Not because Greek Sport was particularly bad. I mean, he wasn't great, but he wasn't bad. Fernley was unbelievable. Fernley played an incredible match. Just the best match I've seen Fernley play, actually. He should have won it in straight sets. If you didn't watch that match, anyone that didn't watch that match, Fernley was serving for the match. I think it was something like 6-4, 6-2 he would have done. And somebody's phone went off in the arena when I think he was 30-15 up. He was like 1.02, I think, at that point, minus $50 to win the match. Someone's phone went off. What happens at the tennis, and they're scrabbling, and you can't find your phone, can you? And you're like, oh, where's the phone? Where's the phone? And this went on for a little while, and they obviously stopped playing. He ended up dropping serve, did Fernley, and he could have lost that match. He almost completely lost it from a very, very dominant position. Went all the way to the final set tiebreak. So I watched all of that, and it just looks. I think it's the balls. I think these Robin Soderling balls, they're quite dead. Although Fernley managed to make them look like you could hit winners on this court pretty easily. Had a great day. The statistics from qualies, again, you take it with a bit of pinch of salt, but 79% holds, 71% first serve points won. That's quite a lot less than we've seen in Brussels and also Almaty, incidentally. So, yeah, for me, the conditions are a little bit slower. I think it's them Soderling balls.
Lorenzo Sonego is in bad form. This is the match Sean likes. He's up against, Arthur Fery. Minus 139, though, for the Italian, who's lost 5 of his last 6 matches. Fery, though, on the other hand, I know he hasn't been playing at the top level like this on the ATP Tour, but he's in good form in the Challenger level, and his record indoors this year is a very impressive 15 wins from his 18 matches. For Sonego, it's just 2 wins from his 4 matches. So this might be a little bit interesting than the betting suggests here. Spread is 1.5, total's 23.5. Fery's the outsider, plus 112 with Bet Rivers. 50 different markets available on this match. And remember, if you do have a bet, you'll be able to live stream the match on your tablet or your mobile device. We going with the Brit for another British success here, plus 112?
You know what? There's been a gamble on Fery here. I've mentioned this one because I think it's really interesting, this match. I mean, he opened Fery at plus 190 with Bet Rivers, 2.9 in decimal. And now he's barely the underdog. I'm just not sure where that's coming from. I mean, I think there's an idea. I've got an idea of where it's coming from, but it's just an idea. Unless somebody's seen something with Sonego. If you looked at these two and said just a normal match, what price would you have Sonego to beat Fery? I would have him much shorter than -139. It's strange, this. In a way, it's not a huge surprise, given that Sonego is one of those players, again, that I talked about quite a few times, that tend to fade away at the end of the season. Sonego is one of them, generally. Not all the time, because he's always unpredictable, but generally he has. Last year, he lost in either round 1 or round 2 of all 7 tournaments he played after the US Open until the end of the season. And now he's lost 11 of his last 14 matches in that period of time. And he did fade away pretty badly against Hanfmann last week in Shanghai. That, for me, is the only reason that these prices are as they are, unless there's an injury or something that I'm not sure about or I don't know about. Because Fery's got no sort of record at main level at all. He's only played 4 matches at main level. All of them were as a wild card at Wimbledon, so he's never qualified. Until now, he's never qualified for an ATP event. The only way he's been able to play at this level is the All England club are giving him a wild card. He's won one of those 4 matches. I think it was against Popyrin, when Popyrin was in one of his funks. So he's won 1, lost 3, service points won and return points won total of 97. Yeah, okay, fair enough. But it's a wild card at Wimbledon. He's got nothing to lose. He's not familiar with the tour grind. This is his first time, obviously, ever qualifying, ever playing in an ATP World Tour event. So I've looked at his challenger stats. They're okay, but they're nothing special. I'm tempted to bet Sonego here. At -139 just seems. I know people always say, "Oh, why don't you have a bet favourites?" Normally, it's because they're not particularly great price. I might be tempted on the little handicap here, -1.5 on Sonego. I can't see any reason for Sonego being, given the level that he is, given what he's capable of, he shouldn't really be -139 against Fery. I think the prices as they were originally, plus 190 Fery, that's more realistic. It's much too short on Fery. It's a worry if you bet in Sonego because of everything that I've just said about the fact that he does tend to sort of hand in his cards at the end of the season. But I'd probably take a punt on -1.5 on Sonego. If Sonego's at it, that will look quite a decent price.
I'm looking at it around. I mean, I got a feeling that the Fery price might even contract further. I think it could be around about evens by the start of here. You might not even.
You tell me, Nigel. I can't think of any reason why Fery should be an even money chance against Sonego. I mean, unless you can think of something I can't.
If I was asked, if you said to me, could I price this match up yesterday, I'd be -$2 and plus 150.
Yeah, 1 to 2.
That's what I'd be. That's how I'd bet it. But I've mentioned it to you. I do worry about the end of the season when there's a gamble on someone. I just think to myself, there must be. And you've got to look at Sonego's results. I mean, he's clearly out of form. He's clearly probably done for the year. And it's the motivation question. If this was a first round at Wimbledon or a US Open and you would get this kind of price, it'd be a lump job, wouldn't it? But you just got to
question major.
Absolutely. You just got to question the motivation for him, really. I suppose that's what it is. But -1.5 in a normal day, it'd probably be 2.5, maybe pushing 3.5. So could be a bit
3.5, yeah. 2.5, 3.5, yeah.
I think the best advice would be to watch it, see if the gamble continues, and watch 3 games of the match and see if Sonego's at it. And if he's at it, play.
I mean, Fery is not. He's not a player that, if you've watched him, he's not blessed with like particularly big weapons. He's a good athlete, and you get around the court and you can get to the net and stuff. But he's not someone that you could think, he's got a massive serve. He can click through his service games. That's not Fery really. He's a decent enough challenger player, but he shouldn't be that priced to beat Sonego. There must be something going on there. Maybe watch it. Maybe have a look in play the first couple of matches. You can normally tell with Sonego because he's normally quite sort of ebullient. He's normally sort of quite energetic and he's sort of fist pumping and stuff. If he's not doing any of that, then but I'd worry. But in the first game, have a look, see what his body language is like, and maybe take a punt on the spread there because that looks a bad price on Fery to me.
If you want to set your alarm clock to watch that match, it's 5 a.m. Eastern time. The action starts in Stockholm as well, at the same time as Brussels. So another early start tomorrow morning on Wednesday morning. But Sonego, minus 139, is tempting Sean. And whenever Sean bets a minus 139 shot, doesn't happen a lot. You want to make respect
It
for that one.
doesn't.
Doesn't happen a lot. If you do like what you hear on this show, remember you can sign up to our newsletter and our insider at bettingweeklystudios.com. More exclusive content from all the team here, including our tennis handicappers and soccer handicappers as well. And talking of soccer, obviously, we're back this week with Betting Weekly Premier League and Betting Weekly Extra Time after the international break on Thursday and Friday. Okay, our final match is in Almaty. Now, this is a real early start if you are stateside. 2 a.m. Eastern Time, the action starts here. We're going to wait to see where they're positioned on the order of play. But the match that's caught Sean's attention is the match between Jean-Lennard Struff and Mackenzie McDonald. Now, very quite a heavy favourite, Jean-Lennard Struff here at minus 152 compared to the plus 123 for McDonald. 1.5 is the spread, 2.5 is the total. But when you have a look at these two, there's hardly anything between them on the world rankings. I think there's one spot between them and the world rankings, and I think McDonald's slightly higher. No, it's 98 Struff and 99 McDonald. On their record indoors this year, McDonald's 4-2 compared to Struff, who's 2-3. So Struff has a big winning record, but their only head-to-head was this year at the US Open, where Struff won 3-1. What do you think about this? What are the conditions like here in Kazakhstan? And my first impression is I don't understand. I couldn't bet Jean-Lennard Struff at this stage of his career and at this time in the season at minus 152.
Well, there's a reason for it, which I'll come on to in a second. Conditions. It looks. I mean, it's on at the minute. There's a match on Rinky Jakarta at the minute. I watched it yesterday. Watched a bit this morning as well. Our man Vukic 66-1. He managed to get through. Obviously, Diallo pretty comfortable as well. It certainly looks quick. Definitely. I mean, you would expect that, the altitude, 750 metres. So quali's 88% holds a serve, 77% first serve points won. That is as quick as it gets, really. Very surprising statistics from quali's there. It's as I hoped, which will suit, obviously, Vukic. It will suit Diallo. Hopefully it'll suit Medjedovic as well. So hopeful of a good week there on the outrights. This particular match here, Struff against McDonald, it's another one where the odds have moved a little bit, but not massively. I don't know whether I've been drinking something funny, but I'm tempted with a favourite again here. The reason being, there's more to it than sort of meets the eye here, and the main factor is that Mackenzie McDonald had several medical timeouts in the final of the Jinan Challenger that he played on Sunday for a right elbow issue. Which is certainly a worry for a right-hander. Got beat pretty easily in the final by Artur Cazot, and he's had a long journey to get there. It's not that easy to get from Jinan to Almaty. I don't know whether you've ever tried it yourself, Nige, but
no, I've never done it. I don't. It wouldn't be a $1 bus there. I know that. That's one thing you can get.
That could take you about 4 days. It's 10 hours with a connection. There's not many direct flights from Jinan to Almaty, as you can probably imagine. So long old journey to get here with an obviously problematic right elbow. He couldn't possibly leave until Sunday, so he's got a Wednesday start, so that's helped him a bit, but not exactly what you would call ideal preparation for Mackenzie McDonald. I mean, Struff should certainly be in better shape. Obviously not had such an arduous journey. He's had a bit of a journey, but not as arduous and not in such a short time frame. Struff's been a bit of a funny one this season. He kind of found his form a bit, quite a lot at the US Open when he came through qualies. Came through some tough matches in qualies. Ended up beating Holger Rune. You probably remember that we were in that bar, weren't we, in New York? Struffy. I got very excited about that, didn't I? After one Magnus, that's when you had that terrible pint of Stella, wasn't it?
Oh,
he beat Holger Rune. Then he obviously beat TFO, which didn't please me much at all. And obviously Mackenzie McDonald, he beat there as well. Ended up losing to Novak Djokovic. So you would have thought, given his injury problems, that would have kind of boosted him, and you would think he'd gone on to sort of better things that he's capable of after that. But he hasn't really done it since at all. He's lost a couple of challenges as a heavy favourite. He lost us 1.21 minus 476 chance in the Rowan Challenger, and a 1.42 chance, that's minus 238 in Velena. But again, is at this stage of his career, is he that bothered about challenges? I think what both these guys are doing here is trying to get into that Australian Open draw, they're both round about that 100 mark. Obviously, not everybody in the top 100 will be playing. There'll be a couple of guys that won't play. And it's not a certainty. The cutoff mark's normally sort of 104-ish, but these guys are not certain. Sort of 99 or whatever they are. They're not certain to be in contention for that. Well, they're in contention, but they're not certain to qualify. It's not certain to be in the draw. But just looking at that US Open match, Struff won it pretty comfortably, 107-93 in terms of service points won and return points won totals. Struff, 89% first serve points won, and it wasn't quick in New York. I would suggest that it's a lot quicker here in Almaty than it was in New York. Obviously, outdoors there, indoors here. And Struff also won 42.4% of return points, which is very big for him. So both elements of his game worked very, very well against Mackenzie McDonald. And as I said, Almaty, its altitude, it's quicker. You would think the Struff serve would be even tougher to handle here than it was in New York. Struff also has a better record in indoor hard. His career, 50% win rate. Service points won and return points won total 101.3. McDonald, not great indoors. Hasn't got the biggest of serves. 43% win rate and a total of 99.8. So again, we're favouring Struff. And versus big servers, McDonald, 9 wins, 15 defeats at all levels, all surfaces against the big servers that I've got in my database. So it just looks a tough situation for McDonald, all things considered, with the injury, the travel, the matchup. I'm tempted with Struff here, minus 2.5 games. You're either going to get a performance from Struff or you're not. I think he needs one. I think the Challenger stuff, I'm not that worried about at his stage of his career. He's probably just trying to get used to the conditions, have a couple of matches indoors before he goes to the main tournaments. I'd be betting Struff minus 2.5 games at evens here if I was having a wager in this one. Some pretty tricky matches tomorrow, but the conditions in Almaty for me, they're some of the quickest of the year at the minute.
Yeah, there's some really interesting stats there on the court speeds, which are, you've got to use to your advantage when you're looking for a bet. Obviously, there's going to be a load more matches throughout the day, we'll know, which will be on the Bet Rivers website and the app a little bit later on. But at the moment in time, these are the 4 matches we are discussing, and there is only one official play, and that is in the tournament over in Brussels, where we are going to go for Hanfmann at even money. And as I say, I think you need to get on that pretty quick because I expect him to go minus money before they start tomorrow. Our match is early. It's 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. I think it is. It's a very early start tomorrow. And there are some leans as well there. Remember, there's a load of content here on the channel. Betting Weekly Tennis Live, Monday through to Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. We have Betting Weekly Live, the UK, so the European side, which is 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And Betting Weekly Live US is 5 p.m. Eastern Time as well. So lots of content on the channel all the way through Monday, Wednesday on the tennis, and Monday through to Friday. Every weekday, we covered on the world of sport. Myself and Sean will be back tomorrow to do our final Betting Weekly game bet match of the week. And if you followed our tips on the channel this year, we're more or less dead flat. It's absolutely dead flat. So it's all to play for in the last few weeks of what's been a very long 2025 season. Sean, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you getting up nice and early for me. I do that. I know you're a busy man, but it's also nice. So now I can go and have the local dish.
Go and enjoy it.
I've got to find what the local dish is. I'm going to find out what we can get. It's called speck. Something. I think it's bacon and peas.
Speck.
Yeah, bacon, peas.
That sounds all right.
And something else. I can't remember what it is.
This is something else that worries me. What what else could it be?
Dog, I think. I don't know. I don't know. But I mean,
It's what?
A dog. I don't know what it is. But I
hope not. Close your ears, Doris. Close your ears.
I'm only joking. But we're going to go and find some local spec. I'm definitely not having the local lager. The local lager's not very good here. So, head into Ring the Game. If you want to follow me there, you can do on our socials at Because We Win. I'll post some stuff up there, some pics on that, and we look at the international football. But normal service resumes next week with the return of the leagues across Europe and the soccer and the tennis season coming down to what, as like I say, has been a long testing 2025. But myself and Sean will be hammering away trying to get you some more cash the next few weeks. So one bet tomorrow. Enjoy one bet for tomorrow. Enjoy your day, and we'll be back again tomorrow on more Betting Weekly Game Bet Match.